मन जाकर राखो जी गिरिधारी लाल मन जाकर राखो जी
एवमुक्त्वार्जुनः संख्ये रथोपस्थ उपाविशत् विसृज्य सशरं चापं शोक संविघ्न मानसः.
Now that we have completed chapter 1, we should try to summarize, recapture in our mind the main points, and our whole objective of studying Gita is to find peace in our life. We need to know about religion, we need to know about spirituality, we need to know our ignorance, we need to know our knowledge, we need to know our strength as well as our weakness, and we also need to know who is going to come to our aid when we really need it. We have found that in real peace and happiness, we have to turn only to God. And in chapter 1, Arjuna has already turned to God, but we turn to God or to doctor only when we have problems. And so, even a man like Arjuna, who is expert in his field, the top man is just like Bill Gates, if you want to say the most successful man in the world, or President Bush, who is the top of the country in the world, or you take any person who is at the top, Arjuna was in that particular position. He was as smart, he was the king, he was chosen even by God, and yet we find that such a person who is successful in our worldly matters can have problems, particularly internal problems, that cannot be solved by the physical world or physical objects or physical success. And so in chapter 1 we find that Arjuna is depressed, particularly the main reason is our attachment, our false values. We think that by getting attached to our relatives or our business or to the worldly things, we are doing good to others or to ourselves, but it really is not. So fundamentally our beliefs in this bhautik world, in this physical world, usually leads us into problems. No matter how wise we think we are, we still need to turn inward to God or to scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, or we need to turn to saints like Meera Devi or any other saint of your choice in whom you have faith. We just want to make sure that he is or she is really saint and that they have lived the life according to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is the word of God. Now that we find that in spirituality there is no division, but in religion and in anything else we will be talking about, there will be division. So we must ask what type of religion we are talking about, what type of temple we are talking about. Gita ji will be telling us the gradation. There is tamasic, there is rajasic, there is sattvic. There can be a tamasic temple where there can be drinking, smoking, dancing, prostitution. That has happened in the temples. Then there is a temple in which you talk about lust and greed and followers and money. And then there is a temple, what we will call ashram, which a good example will be Mahatma Gandhi conducting his ashram in Ahmedabad, where there is purity, pure purpose of leading people out of their worldly problem into the spiritual problem, without which there is no happiness. So that is a sattvic temple or a sattvic teaching or a sattvic saint. And so in the world, whenever we will be talking about, we should always ask the question in what particular department, which is it tamasic, it is rajasic, or it is sattvic. Whether it is temple, whether it is a dharma guru, whether it is a president of your country, whether it's an educational institution, whether we are talking about commerce, town, place, all these things can be and will be classified by Bhagavad Gita into three categories. That helps us to come out of the lower category into higher category. That is all like measuring temperatures. If we know the temperature of the person, then we know where we stand, what our problem is, and then we can take it from there and try to correct the situation to come back to our health. And that is what we want. We want to get back to our spiritual health. And in this world, we are easily, because of ignorance, we can be easily led like children into difficulties like Arjun is facing. And usually we note here that our family, the nearest one, the dearest one, with those with whom we are attached, are our greatest problem if we don't know how to deal with them, or if we don't live with them detached. And we will be talking about what detachment means, what love means, what attachment means, what causes problems and what does not cause problems. We think that if we are attached, we love them, but actually that is where we might be making the greatest mistake. Love and attachment has no relationship whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they are quite far apart. Now then, Arjun, who has to face this problem, the smartest man and the leader in this war, as we have talked about, the war between good and evil. Let's not worry too much about Kauravas and Pandavas. They are only a representation or a picture. But we are always talking about vices and virtues, and the war is not the battlefield outside, but it is within us. These are only the examples of Kauravas and Pandavas and Duryodhana. They represent something. As far as the virtues or vices are concerned.
Aren't dharma gurus or religious leaders are saints? As you mentioned, we have to turn toward the saints.
Yes, the question is whether dharma gurus are saints or what might be the difference between the dharma gurus and dharma gurus. Usually, as we see in the world today, are normally in the same type of business as the CEOs running a large corporation. They have their domain, they have their own followers, their denominations, and it normally becomes business only in the name of God. So when we talk of dharma gurus, we'll be always talking about within the field of the physical world, while the spirituality we are talking about is a rare thing, and it has very little to do with what we see today in all religions and all leaders and all the teachings and all the following. That is within the field of physical world, while spirituality is so hidden that very few of us will have an access to it. It will be probably hiding somewhere in the cave if there is a saint. As we have said that there are very few saints in this world. All you see is the business that is going on. So spirituality certainly then is a rare thing, and we will have to work hard to find out where spirituality or spiritual teacher is.
So these places of religious as well as dharma gurus are also teaching Bhagavad Gita. Where is the difference then?
Yes, this is one of the problem in Maya. Everybody is teaching Gita, everybody is reading Gita. We all can read Gita. But those who practice it, those who succeed in realizing God, and I think that it will be very difficult to pin down, and we don't want to do any injustice to anyone. So all we can say is that we give examples of those people so that you can keep that in mind, that those are the ones. And if you have a person like that, then you are fairly safe that he is your spiritual teacher. I would give you a few examples. Jesus Christ himself was a spiritual teacher, whether you want to call him son or father or God or whatever. Buddha Bhagwan is another example of a spiritual teacher. Mirabai is certainly one of the finest example of our spiritual teacher. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. We have plenty of examples. I am just giving you a few to give you an example as to whom to follow as a spiritual guide in absence of your knowledge. Gita, of course, is the best guide, and all those saints followed Gita, but sometimes because we are attached, we like to make the meaning of Gita the way we want. We just will confuse because we always like to interpret what we like. Uh, so I would say that spiritual teachers, there are saints, and what I have read about those saints were always mostly hiding in the ashrams, and you have to find them. We used to go to Himalayas, and rarely we will find a person who genuinely is a saint that can help us. So we cannot go by outer sign, but I would say one thing. If there is an institution, if there is a following, if there are sampradayas and denominations and large temples, large money and large followers, I would suggest to keep away from all of them, because spirituality has nothing to do with crowds, money, all shouting we do even in the name of reading Gita or Bible. I think that it is an inward thing, and that is the only way where we are going to find peace. And these saints are the saints who were even advisors to the religious leaders, like even Pope. Pope was advised by the saints of the Christianity. We in Sanatana Dharma had our kings and very wise people, but they always went to the spiritual teachers, which were very rare, always wandering, and once in a while they will come up, like Yajnavalkya or somebody. So we have recognized that even the finest kings and religious people, like Janak Raja, they had to listen to the saints. And these are the saints we are talking about. These are the saints about whom Gita is talking about. And each and every one of us have an opportunity to become that saint. We can become like Buddha, Jesus Christ, Mirabai, Mahatma Gandhi, or whatever highest ideal you have. All of us have that potential, but we'll have to follow the discipline. We'll have to understand Gita, and we'll have to be sincere. And then, of course, we don't need to worry about whether we have realized or not, because God will be with us and He will tell us in our conscience whether we are right or wrong. We don't need any other measurement except either these saints or Srimad Bhagavad Gita or any scripture that is pure and undiluted. So I think that would then answer your question, how to distinguish between the saints and Dharma Gurus. Dharma Gurus normally just considered as CEOs, and we know that what has happened recently in running their show, and even that this happens in religions also, but we don't know about it. So in religion, in culture, in our beliefs, in our faith, there is always fanatism, ignorance, confusion, and we make a business out of it, because our pride is always there, and we love ourselves, and we like to be worshipped. We like to become God. While the real saints are always humble, like Mirabai, always remain a dasi or a servant of God. And if we have the attitude of servant of God, then our life would be more like Mahatma Gandhi or Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or Jesus Christ. As I said, these are the examples for us as spiritual teachers. So then, what we are talking about, that our life in chapter 1, we have problems. We think that we are wise, we defend our problems and our weakness, as we saw in the behavior of Arjun. Arjun is wise, worldly wise. There is a difference between worldly wise and the spiritual wise. I think the worldly wise people usually are more stupid in spirituality, according to the spiritual teachers. Because in the world everything is turned upside down. So whatever you think is right in the world usually is wrong in spirituality. And these are the things we do not know. We are not taught, we are not told. And unless we learn Gita properly, or unless we are blessed, unless our goal is genuinely going towards God, these truths are not revealed to us. We are usually satisfied with our own little world. We always like physical pleasures. So that is what we run after. And there are very rare cases where somebody wants to come out of it. One of the things in chapter 1 we notice that first we are in this world. We may be in one of those three divisions. We may be tamasic, we may be rajasic, or we may be sattvic. But we have an opportunity to advance. That is one thing. We also have said that almost any person can turn to God, turn to spirituality when they realize that the life that they have been living is not giving them the peace or joy, and therefore Lord always forgives us. We have said we will be coming to that in Gita also. No matter how much evil we may be, but we must turn to God. We must humble ourselves. We must become a disciple rather than become God. One of the point I would like to make is that nobody in this world, even the saints, never take in charge the duties of God. God always keeps His command. I think all of us should always become His servant, and even we don't want to claim that we represent Him, but rather if we represent Him as His servants, so that our pride will always be kept under control. Otherwise, we'll desire to be God and we would like to be worshipped like God, and we are taking charge of God's responsibility, which then brings us back to the same problem of the world, and we would have lost our goal. So, I personally think that humility to become a shishya or a disciple means that we have to control our ego, our mamta, as we say, the ownership. We have so much pride in us at all levels, and the struggle against pride, struggle against ego is what the whole war is all about. And this war that we are talking about is the war of ego, and that is what Arjuna has. One thing I like to point out, that Dhritarashtra has ego. Dhritarashtra, we call that he is blind, and we said blind because he has ego, and he doesn't have rationality, he has pride, he has greed. But now Arjuna also is showing his own pride also. So then what is the difference between Arjuna and Dhritarashtra? Arjuna is also attached to his relatives and he refuses to listen to the rationality. So was Dhritarashtra. Then the difference is that Arjuna has surrendered to God. At least God is on his side, and therefore he has a hope that he can come out, while Dhritarashtra has refused to consult or want Sri Krishna to advise him. With this difference, even if both of them have the problems, if we take the side of God, if we humble and pray to God that He come and help us, then I think that's the only difference. We may both be weak, we may both have the same problem, but the difference is that we take the side of God, or we listen to the saints, or we listen to Gita. And if we are pure, then we can listen to our conscience. And if we don't, do not worry about it. Don't waste your time judging who is right and wrong, because God has built in His law that if we do something wrong, we will have to pay. As we have said, there is no free lunch. So just move on. If we make mistake, we should learn from it and move on. God has no problem with us in making mistakes. But we must learn from mistakes. We should not repeat as often. Of course, if we repeat it, we will be suffering often. And it is the suffering that then will become our teacher, and then we will come out of it also. Under all conditions, we are all running towards God like rivers into the ocean. The question is whether we want to suffer more or whether we want to take rather a straight path where we will have less suffering. Suffering is there, and do not worry, right and wrong, everything will be built in the spiritual law. And we want to also mention that there is a religion that is man-made, and we have made those laws, and man-made laws are after all man-made, and they are always dangerous. Then there are natural laws that governs the sky, the sun, the moon, the animals, birds and trees, and natural laws are made by God that do not normally change, and then there are spiritual laws. So I think that if we stick more close to the natural laws, and if we know the spiritual laws, and then if we structure our religious laws based on nature and in spirituality, I think then we'll be coming close to having a guide in the world that will lead us to spirituality. So we have several ways in which we can correct the situation. We don't have to be frustrated. but it all depends on an individual. It's your choice. Even God does not force us, but we must recognize that after all we want to be happy, we want to be peaceful, we want love, and what we are seeing in this world is totally our own experience tells that how fake our happiness is, how fake our joys are, and how fake our friends are when we come into a situation like Arjun is, and then he has to turn to God, because nobody can help us. God alone has kept that helping power with him. And of course, he has given to saints, because saints are his manifestations, but wandering everywhere else for help is simply trying to ask a drowning man to help us while we are also drowning. So, chapter 1 then gives us this understanding what I am talking about. Arjun, such a wise man, does come under this depression. We do justify why we are sick, but that is not wisdom. But since we are covered under ignorance, we even call sickness as happiness. That is what we are doing in the world most of the time. Even though we are suffering, we don't want to change. We get addicted to it. You take stock market or suffering in the life. Uh, we suffer, yet we continue. We talk about it, it is no good, but in our heart we still love it and we want to do it. We do the same thing in religion. But then God has kept the control in such a way that the only sufferer is we ourselves. And the purpose of these discourses is to warn us, to guide us, to help us, if we are sincere, to come out of this circle in which we are, where we are simply passing away our most beautiful opportunity we have as a human being to realize God. And as we have said, that is our highest good. The purpose of human life is to become godlike. There are great difficulties, nobody denies that, it is not easy, but we have done many things that were not easy. We have taken many risks. We did not know, even in marriage, even in going to another country or going to a college, all the risks were there, but we wanted to do it. We thought we will find happiness, and we were capable to do it. If you have the same attitude, same desire like marriage, that I want to marry God, like Mirabai said, if she wants to marry God, God is available to us. So we have been able to do what we want, and even in spirituality with the same enthusiasm and with same eagerness, same energy that we spend, the efforts, then I'm sure that spirituality won't be as difficult as it looks. We must remember that our ultimate purpose is malice towards none and love for all. If we remember this as our motto throughout these discourses, then if there is any understanding or misunderstanding that the purpose, whether we like it or not, is to tell the truth, which most of us do not like, but we want to solve the problem and we have to face the truth. Arjun does not like many things right now, and God is going to guide, and this is the reason that we are turning to Gita. I would suggest that now we will be moving on from chapter 1 to chapter 2.
Is there any Gita book that you recommend that we refer to?
The question is, it's a good question, whether there is a book available that we need to read. As a matter of fact, I do feel that it is not easy to listen to these discourses and tie yourself with Gita. And since I trust more those words because I may fumble, but Gita will not fumble. So I would recommend that you acquire a copy of Bhagavad Gita, which is quite popular, and it is available in most bookstores. You can order it by saying that you want a copy of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It has commentary by many saints, so I do not I do not want to favor one against the other. They all wish well. They all have done the best they can. I would, however, recommend if you just want to Srimad Bhagavad Gita by Swami Chidbhavanandji, and that is available at Vedanta Society of San Francisco. You can find out from the Vedanta Society those, and there might be other Gitas also available, or also from the bookstores you will be able to acquire a copy. I simply recommend that you get the original copy and try to stay with it and see the original writings, the original translation of the verses, and what we are trying to expound, so that you can relate what we are along with the slokas that we are referring to. I think that will be good for those who are studying. I don't believe that merely listening is going to solve our problem. Even if we listen repeatedly, there is another way is to studying Gita. That means you will be read regularly, you may make notes, try to understand, read many commentaries, meditate on it, read, write. Thus you will be able to grasp. Move to a new field or a new town, it is always difficult in the beginning. We don't like it. But slowly as we stay with it, we get used to it, we get familiar with it, we begin to enjoy it later on. My 30 years of experience tells me that once you acquire the love for God, you are not going to give up, even though it does take a lot of efforts, our sincerity, perseverance. But I know many people have done it. I'm sure we can, at least with a hope, do it. One should never get discouraged, no matter how difficult the problem may be. Life is too valuable to give up any hope. We always have hope, particularly in spirituality, when God is with us. So I would recommend that Gita. I have myself personally studied other scriptures also, particularly Christian scriptures. I love to read the lives of saints. They are easy to also read. So I would suggest that along with Gita, you read the lives of saints that I have talked about, or the teachings of other saints also. All these things being is milk from any cow is still milk, and honey from any flower is still a honey. So if we are honest, if we don't have any angle, then we will see truth, and we will take truth from anywhere, wherever it is available. And I have found from writings of almost all saints, if we are vigilant and if we are impartial, and if we are not hung up with our own beliefs and our own religion, then I think we will see immediately that there is so much similarity between the saints' experiences, whether it is Eastern saint or a Western saint. I think that the truth that God has revealed to them is almost identical. We may put different words, but the meaning and the message is the same. I can almost vouchsafe that from my own experience and what I have read. I personally feel that really we are fighting on things that are so petty, so we are so ignorant like children, and we are not looking at milk. We look at cows and then we just try to find differences and then we just fight on it. And these are unfortunate situations. Let's get to the crux of it. And the crux is that we want love, we want peace. Ask the question, am I finding peace? Am I finding love? Am I finding satisfaction? If you are finding it, good. I would not want you to change. But be honest to yourself and be sure that you know whether you are finding peace and joy and love. So always ask questions, stay free and open, and go to places where you will find peace. I would be much more happy that way, and I would even recommend to do it. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.